that button for the recording. We are so excited. We're here for day 2 of the 12 days of command, and I am so excited about today's topic. It's so important and unbelievable and going to allow you to run your day, not the day run you. And so we've got John Goldberg, who is a rock star Market Center tech trainer. He's going to be leading you guys through the content today. Just real quick, I'm going to drop 2 links in the chat. One is going to be to the YouTube channel, which is where this recording will be kept. The other one is going to be a link to our Facebook page where we have the full list and calendar of days of all of the 12 days of command. So we've got 10 more days after this. So hopefully you guys will be able to keep coming back to that. So I'm going to drop that in the chat for you guys. And with that, John, they are all yours. Feel free to jump in.
Sydney, thanks so much. And I'm going to piggyback off you because we have some really great programming coming up for these next 10 days. So you really don't want to miss that at all. If you didn't get a chance to read the chat earlier, feel free to drop your name and the area in which you come from, because we would love to build your referral network with us. But a little bit introduction to myself. My name is John Goldberg. I'm the Market Center Technology Trainer here for Columbia. I service 2 market centers. So I service downtown Columbia, and I also service our Western Columbia area, which is primarily a suburban area. In 2 days marks my 60-day anniversary of being with Keller Williams, and I am so thrilled to be here. Prior to being a Market Center tech trainer, I was a public school teacher in Augusta, Georgia, where I taught 6th grade math and science. And prior to that, I spent 5 years as Apple's in-store trainer for the Augusta location, primarily dealt with onboarding and a lot of other great workshops and summer camps that we offered from the store. So training is the name and John is the name. Training's the game, John's the name. So today what we're talking about is tasks, and just like Sydney said, how your day can be run through tasks and not your day run you. I love tasks because we've had some great, exciting implementations here really soon, and considering that now we can carry it with us on our phones, it just makes it that much better. So my goal today for you is to kind of show you some different aspects of tasks on how our agents in our market center use it and what I've seen that has been successful along those ways as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that way we can get started here. Also, if you have questions along the way, Sydney's going to be monitoring chat and we can add those as we go. Bear with me just a second. So I'm going to share you my screen. Give me a thumbs up or put a 1 in the chat if you can go ahead and see my screen here. Awesome, awesome. Excellent. So I'm going to start here from the dashboard because this is a huge piece of task. I love this space because not only gives me a breakdown as to what's going on here in command, but as you see, tasks is front and center. If I'm ready to just go ahead and get started working, I can just knock some tasks out. But mainly what I want to do is I want to jump into the Tasks Applet itself. So sometimes when I show new agents this, they have no idea where to click. So I love clicking on the KW icon here in the upper left corner. And that of course shows us the names of all these. So I'm going to jump into tasks here. And the first thing I want to showcase here are 2 different toggles. And you may know this in the upper left corner here. I have a contact tasks toggle, and also I have an opportunity tasks toggle. We're going to talk about each of those specifically, but first I want to start with the contact tasks toggle. From here, these are pretty much every single task that are associated with your contacts here. They can also be general tasks that you have to do, but primarily the way that people have done this is if they have a task where they need to follow up with a certain client, or if they need to remember to take care of something for a certain client, this is where it's done. I love this part because it also gives us a chance to not only see it from within this tasks applet, but also these get translated over into the contacts section of the contacts applet inside of Command 2. So from here, I want to jump down and show you a few things. We first have the to-do list, which of course is going to sort everything here based on how you choose to sort it. Most people will choose it by due date and their status, but also people will choose it based on how much of a priority it is for them too. So in case I wanted to see what else I've completed, I can click on the completed toggle and I get a full list from here. Now, anything that is archived, archive tasks are pretty interesting here. So I don't have any tasks that are archived, but if you ever wanted to come back to something later, what you can do is I'm going to go back to the to-do list here. Over off to the side with actions, I have a 3 dots button. If I click this here, this gives me a chance to archive it. So I get to kind of put it out of my way and out of sight, out of mind. So what I want to do first is I want to go and focus on a few things that help me and have helped a lot of our agents. First off being this to-do list section, the to-do date section, which also has the statuses here. A lot of people use this because for me, I'm a very visual person, and having these little color codes tells me, okay, if I'm getting to the orange and red, I need to take care of this here. And as we keep going down the colors of yellow, this is coming up tomorrow, green is coming up for next week, and a purple color, in which I don't have here, is going to be showing later. The big question is, how do we get started with all this? If you click on the teal task, the create new task button in the upper right corner, this will give us a pop-up for creating a task. If I want to go ahead and associate a contact with this, which I will, I'm going to go ahead and click the associate contacts button. So let's say I'm going to type in my brother here, and I certainly need to give him a call. I haven't called him in a little bit, wishing him a happy holidays and to check up on him. But I think I'm going to add a few more people here. And this is what's really cool. If you're actually having the same task of calling, friends and family members, wishing them a happy holidays, you can go ahead off the top of your head and start typing in some other people. I'm going to type in my buddy Will King here. I need to wish him a happy holidays this year. And I'm going to type in also my team leader, because all team leaders need some love. Go ahead and check him off too. I'm going to click that teal associate contacts button. And what this does is when I'm finished creating my task, it's going to save all of this information and associate each of my contacts with this task here. So let me go ahead and hit this button, associate contacts. Since I am making a phone call to them, I'm going to check this box that says mark as a call task. This feature is going to come up really handy here in a second, and when we start talking about command on our phones here. So I'm going to call a contact, and then I'm going to add wishing a happy holidays. Make sure to wish them a happy holidays. And maybe while we're at it, for future days here, I might want to make a note to see if their contact information is correct. Very important, especially since we got Command Mobile and there's some great things in that app. Priority level, this is going to be high for me because I want to make sure I get this done. This is completely optional. However, if you don't want to associate any priorities, you can just click none, and everything will be sorted based on your to-do date and your status instead. So when I come down to to-do date, the great feature is we also have a great additional feature for a to-do time. This is great because especially with the Command Mobile app, it's going to help us prioritize and sort which ones are due today, which ones are coming up, and which ones are already past due. So I'm going to change the time here, and we'll make it for maybe this evening at 6:30. Right after dinner is always a good time to call, especially my family members. So when I hit create task, I want you to keep in mind what's going to happen on my table here, because I'm going to have, as I mentioned earlier, 3 new tasks that are associated with each contact. Check this out. I'm going to go ahead and refresh my screen here. And there they are. Look at that. I've got 3 tasks here that are associated with each of the 3 contacts that I listed earlier. Plus, I've got my to-do date and to-do time with them also. To me, I love that, because if you're just thinking of doing a lot of different phone calls, or if you know that you have to meet up with a few people or maybe drop something off in their mailbox, you can choose which contacts you want to add to that and just simply add it to your ongoing to-do list there. To me, I absolutely love that. Let's say you want to sort all of these tasks by priority. You can click on the up and down arrows, and that's going to quickly change your view within your table here. Sorting it by priority. You can also adjust it based on due date. So sometimes if you want to work backwards, sometimes those are the easier tasks that you want to get done. So you can click on the ones that are due next week and change that, or click on the down triangle, and that's of course sorts it all by your most recent task first. But let's say you're just hammering tasks out left and right. You're having a super productive day like I've been having today, and you're just getting stuff done. You can go over here and click on this checkbox for actions, and that's going to individually check things off. But maybe you're just hammering phone calls back to back. Like, let's say I went ahead and I called my brother Brian, called my buddy Will King, and I called my team leader Matt Carroll here, and I'm just plowing through these tasks. And shoot, I forgot to hit the check button to make sure it's checked off. Well, fear not. You can come over here to the left side, check all 3 of those tasks, and if you go down here to the bottom in the lower right of this table, there's a complete button. So if you check that here, that'll take care of all these tasks. Now, this is my favorite part. You can come here and add specific interactions to these icons. Since I checked 3, these are going to get applied to all 3 of my contacts. So if I didn't want to do this, be mindful of that. So let's just say they didn't answer, and I'll make a note to say, I'll call back tomorrow. Mentally, I'm going to have to make another task based on that because that's how my brain works. So I'm just going to hit complete tasks, and off and away it goes. But let's say I went in here, I'm going to go back to my table. Let's say I talked to my buddy Josh. We're holding a class next week, and I was able to talk to him over the phone. We really got some stuff hammered out for that. I checked this box here. I can come down and hit complete. Or over off to the right side, I can click my checkbox here with the circle. I'm going to check that here. And of course, I get the same interaction, but this time it's just only with Josh here. So we talked, had a great conversation about our class, and got it all done. Fantastic. That task is knocked off. Let's say that you're thinking about going through your completed task at the end of the week, and you're like, you know what, I'm trying to remember what it was I talked to Josh about. I know I made some notes, but how do I go back finding that? If you jump back into Josh Stevenson here, if you click on this contact, all teal colored icons here are links that will directly get you back inside of that specific person's contact page. So if I click on my buddy Josh Stevenson here, this is going to bring up not only his contact card, but check this out. I have my timeline here that says those notes that I added. We had a great conversation about our class, and we got it all taken care of. And this is the task that I originally checked it off for. So not only are you going to get a chronological order based on all of the associated items for this contact, but it all lives in one place. If that task was still there and I still haven't checked it off yet, I would in fact get a number 1 over off here for the task in the upper right corner. And if I click that here, that would show me exactly what needed to get done specifically for that contact. A lot of our agents here in the Columbia area use this, and sometimes they work out of this area not only to see what other tasks are upcoming for this contact, but specifically too, maybe they want to check out some of those other conversations that they had previously and get some notes based on that. A lot of our agents kind of operate that in that simultaneous view within this contact page so they can see both pieces of information. And they find that really helpful for sure. So the other thing that I want to go back on is, what if I have a task, but I set a due date, but I need some more time on that? Totally fine. What you can do is, when I get my lists here, I'm going to use my quarterly call with Andrew Morrison. By the way, this is also a part of a SMART plan. Smart plans are super huge with this, especially when we're talking about Command Mobile, because I can go ahead and add my contacts to a smart plan, and that automatically will assign, if it's created properly, you can tell it to add a task specifically to your list here, which is awesome. But let's say Andrew's a little busy and I definitely need to give him a call back at a later time. I'm going to click on the 3 dots over here to the right for actions. And one of these options is to be to reschedule this task. So I'm going to click reschedule. And I could choose it for increment days. You know, if I wanted to add, let's say I'm going to call them back in a week. It'll tell me exactly what my new due date will be, December 9th at 11:59 p.m. But maybe I know of a specific date and time in which Andrew's going to be free on his schedule. I can click this second option here, and I can specifically choose what date and time it's going to be. I know he's going to be free Friday, especially at 8 o'clock in the morning, because I know he's got nothing to do then. So I'm going to hit apply. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and hit the teal reschedule button. Instead of it how it's shown today, it'll now switch it on over to tomorrow and change that status color along with it too. Super helpful with that. So the other thing too that I want to touch on is these opportunity tasks here. All of these opportunity tasks are going to be tasks from your checklists that are specifically oriented from the opportunities that you're talking about. So one example that I want to show you that I've been working on a little bit here as an example, I'm going to jump over to the left side and click on our opportunities button. I have this already created for my example inside of the appointment section. So I'm going to click on appointment. Now from here, I have some things already set up with my checklist, but in this case, I don't for the scheduling part. So what I want to do is I want to show you just how you can access that and how some of these tasks can come on over into your opportunity section. So if you look over in the upper right corner of my screen here, I have the edit stages button. I'm going to click on this here. And from this area, I have the checklist for each of these items for my stages under the appointment part. So I can come over to any of these checklists and start adding specific items. But I'm going to go actually in schedule because I remember that I need to add one thing to this. So from here, I normally, if I've already have an appointment scheduled, I know I need to bring my backpack. I got to pack my notebook, bring my iPad along with it, but sometimes these meetings can last a little long. So I need to remind myself to bring a water bottle or something to drink. So I'm going to click add an item, bring my water bottle, and then I'm going to click save. When I save this, this is now going to update my checklist. However, keep in mind that if you change this, this is not going to affect your current clients inside of the opportunities here. This will get applied to future opportunities that you add these people inside to. So I'm going to show you what this looks like now. When I go back to my listings here for the appointment, I'm going to move this opportunity on over to scheduled. I want you to note in this lower right corner here, this checklist, even though it says 0 out of 0, this is going to now say 0 out of 4. Originally, it would have said 0 out of 3 before I put in my new task to make sure that I bring my water bottle. So I'm going to click this and drag it on over to scheduled. And I love doing this, especially with the gray handle off to the side. Such an easy way to move things from one area to the next. So now what it's doing in the lower right corner, it's updating my checklist because now I fall underneath the scheduled section here. So to view my checklist and maybe to add some to-do dates and times, I want to click on this checklist button in the lower right corner of this opportunity box here. So if I hover my cursor over each of these line items, I get a faintly gray box off to the right side that says set to due date. If I click this, I'm going to go ahead and check some items here. Let's say I have this appointment scheduled for next Wednesday at 2 o'clock will be fine. And I want to do these for the rest of year 2. All for the example is why I want to show you what this looks like next. So I want to close out this window and then I'm going to jump back into tasks. So close this out. jump back into tasks here. And now, instead of toggling the contact tasks section, I want to jump now to the all opportunities tasks. And if I click this list here, I want to change this toggle for today because obviously I don't have anything due for today, but I want to show something for the next 30 days. And now I have these 4 items that I need to check off along the way for this opportunity when I go to this listing appointment here. So when I'm done with all of these tasks here, I can come on over to the right side and either click this complete button saying that I checked it off, or sometimes what I can do is just snooze this for later if it's not something I need to do immediately. But I know I've already packed my computer. I'm going to complete this task. Definitely always bring my notebook. I did pack my iPad this time and I made sure it's charged. That's always important. And I made sure to pack my water bottle as well. So now all of these tasks are completed here. The great thing for this part is this allows you to adjust some minor things here with your opportunities. If you know for a fact that you've got to remember to bring something, or if you need to adjust the way that all of this looks on your end, everyone's process is so much different with working within opportunity. But I'm so thankful that Command allows us the chance to really customize all of this to make it work for you guys, the agents. Because not everyone's checklist or not everyone's process is going to be the same. So this really is a beneficial tool that a lot of our agents here in Columbia use greatly. So the next thing that I want to do here is to jump back into my contact tasks. And Sydney, you tell me otherwise. Are we cool if we share Command here on the mobile?
Go ahead. This is your show. We have a couple questions that came up in the chat, but I've been answering those. I think you're doing an awesome job and everybody is clear and has a great understanding. So go ahead.
I appreciate that. Keep those questions coming if you got some, but I'm going to change your view here. You're not going to see my command inside of Chrome. What I'm going to do is open up my phone here and show you a little bit as to how all of that looks inside of the Command mobile app for iPhone. And now we've got it for Android. What? It's going to be awesome. We've gotten so much great feedback, Sydney, from our agents here in Columbia. They are tickled that they love it. And they say it's so clean. They love being able to just knock these tasks out. And really the other thing is they really love to add their contacts to smart plans from here too, because we have a lot of our agents that operate with some awesome smart plans about touching base with their clients and have made recurring tasks based on this. And now that we have Command Mobile here, we're able to see our contact tasks right along the top section here, which I absolutely love. So from here, if I wanted to see what's coming up, of course, I have some five to do soon items here, which is going to include everything that's coming up tomorrow, like we saw a second ago that was in that yellow color, and also my to do next week apps, or my to do next week tasks that are in that green color as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap the do soon button here. It's just so simple. And I love the Command app here because I have also the same toggles. I have my contacts toggle and I have my opportunities toggle as well, much like how I see it inside of the Command desktop website. So I can certainly easily toggle back and forth. Do you remember earlier how I mentioned that I can click a checkbox that says that this was a call task? What I love the most about Command on my app here is that I can turn this switch on and I can view only my call task. It filters everything out and allows me to only focus on my phone calls. I love just quickly answering phone calls or making those phone calls, because to me, those are kind of the easier tasks to knock out. So when I'm ready to do so, I just hit this call button here. And I can just hit call. And this, of course, would start calling. But I love this part. Remember earlier how we saw that pop up inside of Command that prompted me to say what happened with this activity? Well, this is how it looks like here inside of the Command app. I can just simply add this activity. I'm going to say, yeah, we connected. but you know what? I left a voicemail. He was a little busy at this time. I'll call back later. So I'm going to hit save here in the upper right corner. And now back in that timeline is where all of this is going to finish up. So I'm going to say that I completed this task, but I know later on I'm going to give Andrew another call. And that's that. Gotta love command. Now, the other thing that I don't think I touched on was how do I view all of these call tasks inside of the command desktop version? So I want to show that quickly. And then we've got pretty much close to 5 minutes left. So I'd love to have that time where if you have any other questions that we can answer them along the way. So let me jump back into my command desktop here. Hit share. So I'm back here, command here for my desktop. So if I wanted to only view those call tasks like I did earlier, I can go over here to the upper right corner and I can click on this filter button. This filter is incredibly powerful because from here, if you look over to the right side of my screen, when I click here, I have the chance here to filter only my call task only. But also if I really wanted to, I could sort the statuses and only see the ones that are past due. This provides a lot of focus for a lot of people because then it removes all the extra tasks and it provides a lot of clarity to say, okay, what do I absolutely have to get done today? So I love this a lot, and a lot of our agents do too. If you're into priority levels, you can check to view only your medium or your high priorities. And then when you hit apply filters, actually remove the filter for that one. When I hit apply filters, it's going to only filter out what I need to get done call task wise that's already past due. I don't have anything that's past due, but let me change that so that way we can see what's coming up next week. So I've got 2 phone calls coming up next week here. And again, it just provides a lot of clarity on how you can filter all of that to really make sure that you're focusing on your tasks and getting stuff knocked out. So that way all of your clients can feel all the love from when you call them, especially for the holiday season. So since we got about 3 minutes here left, Sydney, I'd love to kind of open the floor for any questions that people have and kind of see what people's thoughts are, or if anyone wants to share anything about their experience with Command Mobile. We love hearing that too.
Let's see. I don't see anything in chat, just so you know. Oh, go ahead, Fiona.
Yeah, I just wanted to say how cool Command is. If you do a call, it will add, it automatically like pops up that person if they're in your contacts. Miss Kathy and I have figured that out yesterday, and that's a really cool feature that maybe none of you guys know yet.
We love it. Absolutely. And I love that you pointed that out, Fiona. Thanks for sharing that too, because there's so many details that we can pick up along the way during phone calls and such. My brother actually graduated from the University of Georgia, go Dogs. And we got a 12-0 season, just pointing that out. But it's always great to kind of talk to him a little bit more about that. And the more notes that I can take along the way about a client, whether it's a family member or a friend or someone who you met at a party or just out in your everyday activities, it's cool to note those things. So that way, when call tasks come back around the corner, you can point that out again too. So thanks for bringing that out, Fiona. Appreciate that. Cool stuff. Any other questions that people might have out in Zoom world?
Looks like you've answered everything, John. They have no questions, lots of excitement. They love the features of this with the Command app as well. And just really loving that we had this session for them, and you did an outstanding job.
Thanks so much. I did see a quick other question that someone pointed out. Is there a way to set up mass tasks? That's a great question. So I think it would depend, and tell me otherwise. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right, Neva. For mass tasks, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you have for that. I think with mass tasks, I love the fact of if you're calling someone or if you're wanting to touch base, I think that call contact example that I did earlier is a great way to kind of bulk that. But if you're talking about things, maybe this would be a good conversation for a smart plan. I think that would really be a good opportunity to do that with a smart plan, especially if you know for a fact that you want to keep touch with anyone over the next 60 days. We have some really awesome smart plans in our library that you can add. And now with Command on the app, you could quickly add those people to your smart plan if it's already added to your library specifically. So that gives you an opportunity to bulk add those tasks if they are maybe considered with a smart plan or not. So Neva, I hope I answered that, but feel free to jump on and add some clarity to that too.
Yeah, no, that's kind of it. I was thinking just like in the way of smart plans, like if I've got a listing and I know I've got to do these 5 things, it's going to be those same 5 things every time. And I can just slap it on to the next person that I need to, and it's already set up.
Sure. Now that's a great question. May I follow up with another question, Neva? So is for a listing, I'm curious though, if this would be a good opportunity maybe to put that in the opportunities checklist as well. That could be another thing too, and then when you add those to-do date items, you can have those come on over to the opportunity tasks. I think it just depends on how your workflow is with that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I was just thinking in terms of, yeah, something like that.
Absolutely. That's such a great point. Thanks for bringing that up too. Awesome. Anything else?
There is one question about Kelly in the chat, John, if you'd like me to answer that, or if you want to jump in with that.
I can jump in, but you
Please.
can always correct me otherwise. To my understanding, we are still keeping Kelly for the short term. However, there may or may not be in the distant future we'll need that. But for right now, the best practice is to still keep Kelly around. But for me, I just put Kelly inside of my app library so she doesn't show up on my home screen. But for some notifications, you will need Kelly still around, but otherwise, there are a good number of reminders and notifications that you'll get from the Command app as well. Let's see, I'm seeing there's a few more good questions coming in too. Sydney, you might want to help me out with this one. I'm trying
Justin,
to scroll back a little bit.
Point, Justin, we can't run reports of the task or print. That's probably something that might be coming in the future. Sandra, for opportunity tasks, I posted in chat earlier a link to an answers article that walks you through how to create the opportunity checklist, which has been what allows them to be created into a task. Is there a quick way to add a new task date to recall next week when no answer? So one of my favorite things is actually through the Command app now. When you go into the task, you can actually very easily reschedule it. So if you click on the 3 dots and then choose reschedule, you'll do that.
That's
and will
right.
there be a bulk complete option for all opportunity tasks? Juan, yes. So opportunity task will mirror what we're looking at as far as contact tasks for that. And then Marty, once we install the new KW app, do we uninstall? Okay, so if we're talking about the KW app, that might be the consumer home search app. So we want to make sure we're not uninstalling that. That's what we can use to share with consumers. Kelly, we would leave on our phone for now, which was essentially Command app before we had Command app. So definitely don't get rid of the KW app. That's the one that you can share with consumers for that.
Thanks for making that point, Sydney, for sure. And with our Command mobile app, it's going to be so much easier to share our consumer app with our clients that we meet out in public, or just in our everyday passing too, because now if I can just email or text someone quickly from my Command app, and if I have that link close by, I can just quickly send it off in a matter of seconds. I love it. All
right. Looks like you answered it all, John.
Yes, awesome. I want to thank everyone so much for joining us today. We had so much fun. I'm so thrilled and honored to be with you today, and hopefully you picked up something new, or if you got reminded there's something cool that you previously saw with Tasks. But just want to thank everyone again so much for joining us, and hope everyone has a great holiday season too.
Thank you so much. Thanks, John. This was awesome.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.